What's going on, everyone? Sacramento Kings they're cooked, right? There's no other way around it, right? They have lost 4 straight games. Their last win was against the New Orleans Pelicans, who are like the worst team in the NBA. And they lost 4 straight at home. They have one more home game, right, on this little home stand where you're usually trying to win all those games, right? It's like win your home games and win like half of your road games, and you're a top 3 to 5 team in the league, right? Like, that's how it works. They can't beat anybody anywhere, regardless, but they can't even beat anybody at home. They have a terrible home record. I mean, they have a terrible record, period, but they are a mess. They are a wreck. And their next game is against the Detroit Pistons, who they could be. I mean, they just beat Phoenix on the road. They play my Lakers later today. Depending on when you're watching this video, it may have already happened, but they end up playing the Lakers, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, Detroit beat the Lakers last go around. So Detroit's actually has been pretty good this season, and they are actually in the thick of it to not just be, they're in the play-in right now based on, the standings, but they're only like a game and a half, 2 games out of like 6th. So like they want to win. They want to make that push. They want to be in the playoffs. And Sacramento they don't look like a team that can beat anybody right now. And they're very likely going to fall. I mean, they lost to my Lakers twice at home. They were in Sacramento, right? Twice. And I was on my Laker channel at Stan's Lakers like, hey, hey, we got the first game. That's great. But like, remember, it's hard to beat a team twice in a 3-day span, because it is, or usually it is. And the Lakers, I mean, that game, the Lakers, I felt, were in more control than the first game. Right? Lakers, like, that game was really back and forth, and the Lakers just pulled away at the end. This last game, like, Lakers, it just felt like the Lakers were always going to win that game. It was like, this is just going exactly how the previous game went, right? And the Lakers just held on and ended up winning the game. If it wasn't for Anthony Davis almost choking the game off, right? Like Sacramento may have had a chance, but they're a mess. Their star wants out. I know he hasn't asked or requested a trade yet, but they didn't have a meeting with ownership and everything. Look, I don't think he doesn't want to be there, right? He does. He clearly does. And he's made that clear. But how long do you ride out this struggle, right? How long? I mean, he just turned 27, so he still has time. But 37 is going to be here before he knows it. And I'm sure he'd like to compete and win some championships. Sacramento's in purgatory right now. I don't know how they get out of it, right? Like, the worst mistake that they made was trading for DeMar DeRozan, and now because of it, they're going to probably lose their star. Good thing you traded for DeMar DeRozan, because you're probably going to need him more than ever now, because you're probably losing De'Aaron Fox. And so you're going to need his scoring. You're going to need him on ball on that isolation. It's just, I don't know. And it's so frustrating. Again, obviously I'm a Laker fan, but I'm a basketball fan. I love the game of basketball. I love the intricacies, the ins and outs of it. It infuriates me watching teams just completely self-sabotage and implode themselves. I mean, the Lakers did it with Russell Westbrook, right? Like, everybody knew that wasn't going to work. But, you try to hold out optimism. I did it myself. I talked about how, like, hey, maybe they'll be able to work something out. LeBron was able to make it work out with Dwayne Wade, so maybe. But we all knew, right? We all knew. And when Sacramento made that trade for DeMar DeRozan, I came on here, talked about it even on my Laker channel, talked about it everywhere, and was like, that was the nail in the coffin for them. That was the last thing they needed. They needed sizable, versatile wings. They needed legit 3-and-D. If they could have gotten like 2 3-and-D guys, they may have been a contending team. They may have been a team that was there. They panicked because Malik Monk got hurt last season, and they panicked because the offense just hit a standstill, and they realized, like, oh, the only guy we have that can create is De'Aaron Fox. But you have Malik Monk. How often are you anticipating Malik Monk being hurt and injured? How often are you anticipating De'Aaron Fox or Malik Monk being out? You needed multiple. If they would have gotten OG and Mikal Bridges, they would have been a better version of New York. All right? Because however you feel about Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, like, you have that similarities, right? But you also would have had Malik Monk off the bench. You would have had these other pieces, these other things. And De'Aaron Fox, one of the best fourth quarter closer guys in the league. He's better defensively than Jalen Brunson. Sabonis gives you, nearly triple-double. He's not great defensively, but Cat isn't really great defensively either. That's what they need. They need a Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Could you have upgraded Harrison Barnes and you would have been contending? I'm not saying that they had to go get OG, but like something. Could they have gotten Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein instead of OKC? That would have been huge. Upgrade the backup position, and on top of that, go get one of the best perimeter defenders in the league that can defend essentially, 1 through 3, on some occasions 4. You slot that in, right? Could you go get a Dorian Finney-Smith or a Cam Johnson? There's a lot of smoke kind of building up about Kyle Kuzma, something like that. If you told me this offseason or this season that they ended up getting like Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, and then traded for like a Kyle Kuzma or something like that, I would have been like, watch out for Sacramento. Right? I would have been like, this team might be tough. Right? You were better off going and overpaying for like a Jeremy Grant in his terrible contract than going and getting a DeMar DeRozan, because at least Jeremy Grant is the prototype player that you need. 3-and-D, and guess what? He can make plays for himself too. He can go and put the ball on the deck and score. Right? Like, they just, it frustrates me so much because there's so many teams that you see just self-sabotage themselves. Sacramento was there. They were in the right direction. I don't know if they would have actually won a championship, but they were in the direction. Right? They were a great team. They were not having the success that they had the previous year, but they were still a playoff team. They're still looking good. And then unfortunately, Malik Monk went down and they just fell apart, right? But any team missing their second best scorer, probably not going to do so well, right? Like, and instead of just being like, okay, let's upgrade, trim around the edges, fill in the holes in the need that are blatantly obvious and very clear, they decided, let's go get an isolation heavy, best with the ball in his hands scorer that doesn't shoot threes, doesn't push the pace, doesn't run in transition, and can't defend. All those things I just listed are literally the last things this team need. Their offense isn't the problem. Every year they're one of the top offensive teams. Obviously not this season because they can't score 100 points. But every year they're one of the top offensive teams in the league. Last year before that, they're averaging like 120 points a game. You didn't need offense. You needed defense. You needed to be able to stop the other team rather than just having shootouts every game. And instead, they went the other route and were like, nah, we're good. Like, we want to be able to drop 120 from 120 to 130. And it's completely phased everyone out. It's awkward. It's clunky. It doesn't fit. They're tiny. They're small. They can't rebound. Can't defend anybody. So they have to literally be lights out in order for them to win. De'Aaron Fox probably going to Sacramento, or not Sacramento, San Antonio or something like that. I honestly think that's probably the best place for him. Go to San Antonio, go play with Wemby, try to win a championship, in 2 years or whatever. It's just, but we see it so much. I mean, Minnesota's another one. You didn't have to trade Karl Anthony Towns yet. If you wanted to trade him or you were worried about, the new CBA really, messed us up and whatever. Okay, fine. You're a second apron team right now anyway, regardless this season. You're a second apron team. So you didn't have to trade him in the offseason. You could have waited till the trade deadline and just see. How does it look? You were just in the conference finals. Stay the course. But no, they sabotaged themselves. You saw Atlanta do it a couple years ago. Right? They're in the conference finals. They're headed in the right direction. Good, young, talented, exciting team. And then they go and, you know what we need? DeJounte Murray. We have one of the best point guards and playmakers in the league. You know what we need? Another point guard. I don't know what these teams think. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that some of these organizations have like GMs and ownership groups and all that stuff that are making millions, and to do this job and just look at this and just go, you know what? Man, what do we need to make Sacramento better? DeMar DeRozan. That's the guy. And they even said in the offseason, the reason they got DeMar DeRozan was to, add to the fire, that they needed the firepower in the Western Conference. No, you didn't. You need to be able to stop them from firing, not try to let them run up the total more. Anyway, look, again, Sacramento's cooked. They're done. They're cooked. It's a wrap. They're done. They're not going to go from being god awful to now they're a contender unless they just drastically pull off some trades. But I don't think they're going to be. No one's going to take DeMar DeRozan at that point. They overpaid for him. Right, the new CBA teams aren't and it's not like they have the excuse the new CBA really messed things up. No, you did it during the CBA, right? It's frustrating. But De'Aaron Fox is just kind of how long will De'Aaron Fox ride this out? How long will De'Aaron Fox deal with this? All right, I think he'll finish the season. I don't think he'll ask for a trade by the trade deadline. I think he'll finish the season. But I think in the offseason, you're going to get a lot of De'Aaron Fox news. But as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Hey, Phil, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. As we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.